A surprising turn of events in a week-long Cambria County trial today as the key witness recants his original testimony. It took a jury less than an hour to find a Cambria County man guilty of crashing his pickup truck, leading to the death of his teenage son. Investigators saying that Brian Rolls Sr. was drunk and under the influence of drugs when he flipped his truck last April. His 16-year-old son, Brian Jr., was pronounced dead. His teenage nephew, riding in the back seat, who received minor injuries, testified on his uncle's defense this week, saying it was his cousin who was actually driving when the vehicle crashed, but today he changed his story. And Maria Miller was in the courtroom as it happened. Maria?
Well, Marty, the nephew's testimony today was so shocking and unexpected that Rolls' defense team had no cross-examination. And in fact, they had nothing to say during closing arguments. They sat next to their client, but they really didn't acknowledge him. Now, yesterday was the very first time since the accident last year that the defendant and his nephew both gave a different story from what investigators have been saying all along. Rolls Sr. and his nephew both testified on Thursday that it was Brian Jr. who was driving the vehicle when it crashed. They claimed Rolls Sr. had health problems earlier in the day and was unable to drive. But today it was a complete 180 as Rolls' nephew told the courtroom through tears that he couldn't sleep, he couldn't eat last night because he said he lied during his testimony yesterday. He says he came forward to the district attorney's office today because he felt guilty, and he said his cousin Brian Jr. wasn't getting the justice he deserved. Now, there were gasps, there were tears from the victim's family as Rolls' nephew told the judge he was pressured by his entire family, especially his uncle. He said that Rolls would practice his testimony and his responses often, and he said he would go along with it because he was afraid he would get into trouble. The prosecution tells us him coming forward today was a pleasant surprise.
And we found out that he had testified yesterday and he wanted to come back today and make a new statement. And once we were able to do that, we coordinated for him to be here and we had his testimony. And I believe that was a critical testimony for today. He was granted immunity for his testimony yesterday and for his testimony today.
Now, Brian Rolls Sr. was found guilty of vehicular homicide by DUI, among other charges. He's headed back to the Cambria County Prison until his sentencing, which is tentatively set for September 25th. Reporting live in Cambria County, Maria Miller, 6 News.